The Sounds of the World podcast is a podcast dedicated to the music and cultures of the world. Some subjects that may be discussed may not be suitable for all audience members. Listeners' discretion is advised. Welcome to The Sounds of the World. We are your hosts, Hillary and Bill.
Together, we're going to travel around the world to discover new music, discuss musical topics, and interview fascinating people.
Our world is a buffet of music, and it is time to eat.
Bill, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, let's do it again. Okay, one more time. I wasn't prepared. You got to give me a chicken.
You want me to ask you? I was like, I might just feel like, so what are we talking about today, Bill?
So what's on the menu today or whatever, you know?
Ooh, I like that.
We could just play off this food thing really bad.
No, oh my God.
Beat it like a dead horse.
That's like, is that food? You don't have to eat the horse, right?
Just beat it to death. Just.
Oh, you know what we need to do is get like a beer, like the. Welcome.
Yeah, Scott, where's those beers?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a beer stat. If I drink this late, I'll get heartburn.
God, you are old.
I know. Well, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome.
We have something exciting for you this week.
We do. So this week, we're going to be talking about the wonderful music coming from New Orleans. I don't want to tell you too much because I want it to kind of surprise. But so everyone, they love New Orleans. Hey, it's beer service. Yeah!
I'm super jealous. Which
Shiner Oktoberfest.
Yes, I've had that one before. It's good.
Oh, yeah? It is good. Yeah. If Shiner wants to be a sponsor, we're always looking.
Pumpkin spice lattes, Oktoberfest beers. It's a good time of the year.
Have you ever heard of bounce music before, Hillary?
Honestly, I hadn't heard of the title Bounce. And once I started doing some research, I realized, okay, I've heard of these artists and I've heard their music, but I'd never heard of it as bounce music before. That was new to me.
Yeah, so it's like a subgenre of hip-hop music and rap music. You know, our good friend Wikipedia here.
Yes.
It's all hail Wikipedia. Did you ever see the meme of the guy on the graduation post? He's like, I like to thank Red Bull, Miller Lite, and Wikipedia for getting me to graduation.
I've never seen that. But it's kind of true. I'm like, now that I think about it.
Not wrong, but.
Wikipedia definitely helped me out for this podcast, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's how I'll get through most of my life. So donate today. Bounce music is a New Orleans hip-hop music that comes from as early as the late 1980s in the city's housing projects. Some of the biggest names that they have for this type of music are DJ Jubilee, Partners in Crime, Magnolia Shorty, who just unfortunately passed away, and Big Freedia, who's the queen. Like, Big Freedia is the boss. So I'll play some samples of Big Freedia's music if we won't get sued. But most people don't know, but hip-hop rap music started from the Bronx. And actually, I've been to the building in which the first rap party started. But when I was there 2 Junes ago to actually present at the International Computer Music Association, I took a side trip and ignored the rest of the conference just to go see this building.
That's amazing.
It was so cool. It's like a big, huge, like, housing project building. And it's like, I think it's 1521 Sedgwick.
Oh,
and it's just like, I felt like I was like standing on historical grounds. Of course, people were just driving by and ignoring me, but I was just like, oh.
Did it have that weight? Sometimes you walk in those buildings and it's just, I don't know, it's like the air is heavier there. You just feel it.
Oh, yeah, especially there.
You're just like, oh, something magical and special happened here. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like if you're in Europe and you walk into, you know, like the concert hall where they did like the Magic Flute or, you know, something like that. It's just like, okay, so history. So hip hop started, of course, in the Bronx, but then it soon spread all over the nation, right? One of the quickest places it was picked up was New Orleans, where local producers and record labels with success previously in the genres, African-American music genres, tried their hands at hip-hop. One of the first bounce artists was a man named Kevin MCT Tucker Ventry. He captured the city in like 1991 with his style of rap defined as a preference for chanted refrains and the use of several core samples form the backing music. So this is just like a basic thing you'll hear in a lot of bounce music, even in the newest releases by Big Freedia and stuff. You'll hear things just over and over and over again. And then there's core samples taken from the history of bounce music that also kind of adds value to it, which is really cool.
Do they these core samples, do they literally take like the same sound sample and play it over and over? Or is it like kind of an idea, like a beat that's similar? Or
it's like so you know the big hit in the Firebird, right?
Mm-hmm.
That usually wakes everyone up from the audience.
Yes.
We've all seen those viral videos. The woman in the audience. Ah! That was great. But that chord was sampled by a hip hop producer. Then he put it into a MIDI, and now they use it all the time. And they like even Bruno Mars and stuff like that. But it doesn't sound like it because of how they changed the way the pitch is and what interval, not what intervals, but like in what pitch area.
Pitch class.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I literally had no idea. That's really cool.
Yeah, a guy just wanted a little more like pop in one of the pieces and really make it kind of snap and crick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he stumbled across it listening one day on the turntable. Yes, record.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so random too. Like I would never would have guessed.
I never would have thought of it.
Oh, yes, the Firebird, of course.
But yeah, so what they do is they like one of the earliest people that they really sampled was from the group called Showboys, who did this rap song called Drag Rap.
The rhymes you are about to hear are true. MC's names have been changed to protect the innocent.
A lot of it's like these opening ticks, chromatic ticks, and intermittent shouting of the word break, whistling as an instrument element, and then the vocoded drag rap vocal, that kind of stuff. Those get sampled often and kind of handed back and forth to other pieces, and that's kind of a way of like saying, hey, we're new, but we're still, adhering to the past kind of stuff, even though it's only 20 some years old,
Yeah, kind of like a way of like branding. I want to say like similar to like a costume. Like everyone knows what you're doing, but you're uniquely you as you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it still has that old ancient style of call and response and things. So yeah, so this blossomed and a bunch of artists came up, like I said, like DJ Jubilee, Partners in Crime. People might remember Juvenile from the mid-90s.
Yes, that was the one like, oh my gosh, I think he's on a CD somewhere. Like that.
And then Magnolia Shorty, she was one of the few real big women in bounce music and hip hop.
Right.
So it was really huge in New Orleans, but it never really gained much like national success and things like that. New Orleans music has a long tradition of incorporating gay and cross-dressing performers.
Yes, I thought that was amazing. Like speaking like to their culture in general, the idea of, you get dressed up for Mardi Gras, like it's not even a thing for men to dress up full garb.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that that's translated into their music. And yeah, I'm just like, oh, it's so cool. Like,
Oh yeah, it is cool, and it's definitely yeah, especially considering how deep in the South it is.
yes. Trying to think, I grew up in Texas, so I'm like, oh man, like if you couldn't get away with that where I grew up, certainly not. Um, just ingrained in that Southern Baptist culture, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and Louisiana is a really interesting state because it's divided more or less in half. So like the northern half is the very Baptist, very conservative, and the southern half is very Catholic. And they're not as, I mean, they're conservative, but they're, that's where you have Mardi Gras. That's where you have, these wild parties and things like that.
I mean, the Catholics love a good party.
Yeah, that's true.
I grew up Catholic.
Right.
I mean,
So,
Lynn's coming. We better get Carnival out of the way.
oh, I know, right? Get it out now. You got a stint ahead of you, so. But yeah, so it's because of this cross-dressing and again the gay inclusion. There's a lot of overlap with another subgenre of hip hop called LGBT hip hop, which is really cool. That I definitely want to look into more.
Yeah.
There's also a mix with things that they like to call crunk. Everyone knows crunk music with like Lil Jon and stuff like that.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, 2004.
Right.
Oh.
And they incorporate a lot of that kind of style into songs such as like Shake It Like a Salt Shaker. And
Yes, that was the other one, like coming across this research. I was laughing because like on a CD somewhere I have and I just laugh a little bit about this because like I wonder how a girl in Montana got this on a mix CD. But I've got like Shake It Like a Salt Shaker. There's like Shake That Monkey, I think is on there. And it was basically all this Texas underground rap that my brother had gotten from his friend when we lived in Texas. And I was interested when I was kind of doing a little more research on this. I saw that like Houston and New Orleans kind of like exchanged ideas and swapped music. And so I'm like, is that how I ended up with this CD like that my brother got because his friend of a friend like burned it for him? And yeah, I just think that's really cool. Like, I don't know how it kind of spread back in the day versus now. I mean, we have Spotify and
right.
I could hop on YouTube and find all this music in like 2 seconds. But like 20 years ago, it was like literally digging through my brother's CDs, being like, what could I listen to today? Like, and just whatever he had in his collection that he got from his friend that had burned something from the underground.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Houston's so cool in itself because it has its own hip hop history.
With that Screwed and Chopped.
Right? They got that, and then you got the
like
mix.
I have a whole CD of Mike Jones somewhere.
Oh, Lord. But there's also a nice infusion of the Latino culture and the Latino hip hop too, which is cool.
Oh, and it's just lively and fun. Like, holy shit, that's fun music to listen to.
Oh yeah. Bounce music is all about life and living, and like the music itself is full of energy and excitement,
But I mean, that is New Orleans. The first time I ever went to New Orleans, I think I was there for 4 days. I slept like a total of 7 hours. Like that city. I'm not even like, I shit you not. Like it was a bachelorette party and we were enjoying ourselves going out, but it was like, I just remember like feeling all of so much energy there. I mean, like I literally can't sleep. This city is so alive.
Mm-hmm. New Orleans does that. I think, was it Las Vegas is like first in tourism and then New Orleans, So, I mean, it's awesome.
Oh.
And then that, of course, infused up into Memphis, Tennessee, because that's super close. It's only, a day's drive from New Orleans.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think about that. For some reason, I'm like, oh, that's 2 days away. But I'm like, no, they're actually a lot closer. Not everything's as far away as Montana.
Or in Texas.
Yeah.
You want to go to El Paso? That's going to be a full day.
Oh, I know. Drive all day and still be in Texas.
Oh, I know. Still being hot. But that encouraged groups that became things like 3-6 Mafia. 3-6 Mafia is actually a really cool group.
I just think of being in middle school. I think of they were like so lively. I mean, it was like 2006, 2007, 2008. Like, I just feel like they really hit like a really good stride back then. And at least I think I'm thinking of 3-6 Mafia. I'm gonna be like super embarrassed if that's not what I'm thinking.
It might be. So
it's like they weren't around or they weren't even prominent then, Hillary. But yeah,
yeah. And of course, if anyone knows more, they can always feel free to let us know or email us at soundsoftheworldpodcast@gmail.com. Of course, the bigger, more noticeable ones now are like Big Freedia, Fifth Ward, Weeby, Vodka Redo, and Choppa Style. They made an appearance on actually a 2009 documentary TV show called "It's All Good in the Hood." That spotlighted New Orleans bounce music artists. So,
I love it.
John and Glenda Robert, who were both the producers, they produced a documentary called "You Heard Me" and wrote a book called "Bounce Baby, Bounce, Bounce, Bounce." So everyone should check those out. They're really cool. Lots of good information on them.
You hear that title and you can't not help but like want to dance in your seat. Bounce, baby.
Right? Right, exactly. I was listening to some Big Freedia music earlier, and my kids were watching TV, and I have, headphones that they can't hear out of, and they were ignoring me, luckily, but I was like in the kitchen bouncing. I was like,
It's got like a silent disco going on.
Exactly. There's a Museum of Southern Art, the Ogden Museum of Southern Art in New Orleans, which in 2010 featured an exhibition called "Where Are They At? New Orleans Hip Hop and Bounce in Words and Pictures," which examines the origins and the developments and influencers. So it's an amazing art form that has come up from them. And
interesting things I found was the word twerk, and I had no idea that was like bounce kind of like lays claim to the word twerk.
That was their slang.
Just how far and how long it took to disseminate that to the masses. I mean, I think Miley Cyrus gave us all that when we didn't know what it was. Like, I mean, I just couldn't imagine like it kind of floors me that like 15 years ago, I mean, you had to be in New Orleans or know somebody that knew somebody that had that music to hear it or to get a hold of it. And then all it took was one person on, and I'm not saying Miley Cyrus taught us all the word twerk, because absolutely like other people before her, but I'm like, I think she was definitely at the front line of bringing that to our attention.
Well, especially like the Caucasian attention, you know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, you get the white girls going, okay, what does twerk mean?
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go twerk.
Because I remember like when that hit, I mean, I think that hit pretty hard when I was in college, is like the funny thing of like, oh, you're out at the bars and then you like, the guys would be like, hey, twerk. And you'd be like, why don't you twerk? I may have a picture of two of my male friends, like hands down on the ground, feet on the bar. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm not strong enough to do that. But anyways, yeah, I think like I wanted to just touch on that part of the language that you.
Oh yeah.
You think like, oh, I've never heard of bounce. But like, you've probably heard the word twerk. And
oh yeah, twerk. Yeah.
Bounce.
Yeah, that's what was that? Lil Jon made that famous with the crunk artists and stuff at Atlanta, and they would always say twerk, brought in from bounce music. There's the last little bit here, so it started to play more of a role in TV and things like that. And in the second season of the HBO drama Treme in 2011, is set in New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And the season's second episode, Everything I Do Gonna Be Funky, features a performance by the bounce artists Big Freedia and Sissy Nobi, which is, Big Freedia is just the queen. She has her own cooking show, and
I want to check that out.
Yeah. And then of course, because it was such a staple with New Orleans, when Katrina hit, they all, lots of people left New Orleans to go to Houston,
Yeah.
And so it became huge here, and has infused in the music there too. So
Houston's love a good time.
yeah,
You got some new music, play it.
that's true. We do. But typical instruments of this is you're going to have your turntable still. So even in the newer music, you're still going to hear like scratch marks and things from the turntables. The biggest one is a drum machine, just constantly going. Boom, boom, boom. From this one says the Roland TR-808, but 808 drums especially, which is a machine manufactured to create a pitched drum sound. Sampler, mixer, and vocals. That's about it for the music. There's not a lot to it. There's a couple of songs by Big Freedia, like N.O. Bounce, which has a bit of like a little Latin flavor to it, which is really cool. It seems very samba or salsa-ish. So I instantly thought of like, oh, well, maybe that's from, the Mardi Gras, like a little reflection of the Mardi Gras with the samba,
When you think about like your marching and the parades and you got the rhythm and you're going along, and it would make absolute sense. I mean, and especially like Latin music is so rhythmically driven. It has such beautiful creative rhythm. I mean, because it's all designed to be danced to, so you've got to have that like steady, recognizable pattern that anyone can pick up and dance to.
Oh yeah, and it's just beat and the pulse, the push of the music, just like it just goes. It's easily one of those forms that you can just sit there and you're in a club and you're listening to it and you're gonna dance until you like pass out.
You're gonna have a hurricane.
Oh yeah,
you're not gonna know where you are. You're gonna pass out. You're gonna have a real good time.
You're gonna wake up the next morning, get yourself some beignets.
You're not gonna sleep.
Nope.
You're maybe gonna get an hour of sleep while you're there.
And that'll be because you passed out. That's about it. Yeah, so the one person I really want to kind of highlight that I've been talking over and over again is Big Freedia. She is a beast. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's performed with Beyonce and Kesha, and she's worked with RuPaul and all sorts of. RuPaul is also from New Orleans, and just a huge name when it comes to it. She's called the Queen of Bounce. She was named the Best Emerging Artist and Hip Hop Artist, and the Best of the Beat Awards in 2011. 2011, she was nominated for a GLAAD Media Awards. She got her own reality show on the Fuse channel in 2013. And she released an autobiography called God Save the Queen Diva in 2015.
Yes, I love that title.
2016, Beyonce released a surprise single with her, like a sample of Frida's voice in it. She released I think I love this EP, the Third Ward Bounce in 2018. Big Freedia released Third Ward Bounce, and it's a really cool CD EP that is just amazing. And of course, she provided additional vocals for Drake's 2018 number one hit, Nice for What? But she didn't get any credit for it, which is unfortunate. She did go on a tour with Kesha in 2020 before the COVID hit.
Rhoda, is that you?
Yeah. Big Freedia was born Freddie Ross Jr. And took piano and sang in the choir. She was quickly exposed to the artists such as Patti LaBelle, the true queen, and late disco singers like Michael Jackson and Salt and Peppa. In 1998, a drag queen by the name of Katie Red performed bounce music at a club near Melpomene Projects, where Ross grew up. and she had grown up 4 blocks away from Katie Red. Began performing as a backup dancer and singer for the show. In '99, Katie Red released Melpomene. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. Don't hurt me. Block Party in the city's leading bounce label, Take Full Records. She adopted her stage name after a friend dubbed her Freedia. According to Ross, I wanted a catchy name that rhymed, and my mother had a club called Diva that I worked for. I called myself the Queen of Diva, so I coined it Big Freedia Queen Diva.
Yes. Oh, if I could just have like an ounce of that confidence.
Oh, I know.
I love it.
So yeah, she's after Katrina, she stayed a couple months in Texas where she did bounce shows for locals, helping spread awareness of the genre, of course. She moved back to New Orleans when the first time she could. The first club that reopened in New Orleans was Caesars, and they called Freedia and said, let's do a regular night with you here. So she says, we started FEMA Fridays, sorry. It was the only club open in the city, and a lot of people had a lot of money from Katrina, the checks and stuff. So the joy inside the club, I don't think that'll ever come back. But she did 6 to 10 shows a week with,
Wow.
She did block parties, nightclubs, strip clubs, other venues while the city like recuperated. So she was like this healing power of the city.
As I say, there's such a like magic in that sort of work. I mean, I think a lot of like the arts are so quick to be overlooked.
Yeah.
But I think like if you were working on your house or if you came home and you're just trying to rebuild your life, like what a powerful entity that is to go to a club and do like regular things such as just dancing to a live show. I mean, even with COVID right now, we're all stuck at home. I was chatting with a friend yesterday and she's like, I miss live music. And I was like, it's been a devastating year for live music.
Oh, it has. I mean, I saw reports that's like, they're not sure live music will be able to recover from this, and that the only way it's going to recover is if people like composers and musicians and artists force it out there, get out there and do it.
Well, and I think it's like, especially with like in the wake of a tragedy, especially like Katrina, it would be really easy to roll over and just be done with it. But I think it really speaks to her character and just the amazing strength she had to go play a show and go play 6 shows and go play 10 shows. Especially when you can only imagine what people were walking into that club from. Any stage of life, rebuilding that and just to go bounce it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a distraction.
So powerful. Yes.
It's good for you. It's cathartic. In October of 2010, the New Orleans Times became Picayune. Oh, all the people who live in Louisiana are going to yell at me. Called her an overnight sensation. So
Ooh.
She won an MTV Zero Award in 2010 for Too Much Ass for TV.
Yeah. Freaking MTV.
See, in 2013, the music television channel Fuse aired the first season of Big Freedia, Queen of Bounce, a reality show chronicling Frida's growing mainstream attention and life in New Orleans. She would lead a crowd of hundreds in New York City and set the Guinness World Record of twerking. There you go.
That's amazing. If you're going to have a Guinness World Record, that's the ones you have.
Right?
I twerked so hard that I inspired hundreds of people to twerk with me, and we twerked, and we twerked.
There you go. I mean, there's
I freaking love that.
There's a girl on Instagram called Nasty Naz, and she does twerking classes around the world that teaches girls how to twerk and do all that hip stuff. And she's like Polish or something, like Ukrainian or something. And it's just like, what?
I mean, it takes skill. I can't twerk. I've tried. I can't loosen. Like, that's a dream of mine, maybe, is to feel that loose and good in my body, to just shake it and not worry about a damn. I'm a typical white girl. I cannot Now, utmost respect to the twerkers out there. Y'all keep doing your thing. One day, maybe I'll join you from the comfort of my own home. No one needs to see that from me. But
So she had her show going on in 2013, right? And then the second season aired in 2014 and followed her mother Vera Ross's battle with cancer. Which unfortunately she died April 1st, 2014. Freedia immediately, because she was away at times, she was doing some filming for the show. She flew immediately back to New Orleans and planned, this is the kind of funeral I want, a jazz funeral through the streets of the city.
What is
which was
That's
right?
Cool.
And that was aired on the show too.
Probably
the show, right? I bet it was beautiful. The show had been going on for 6 seasons and went from 30 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
It's now called Big Freedia Bounces Back.
I want to check this out.
Right, it's awesome. Skipping through notes here. The book Big Freedia, God Save the Queen Diva, written by, quote, gay self-proclaimed mama's boy who exploded into the formerly underground bounce music scene, along with Nicole Bowlin, was released in 2015 that she co-authored. That was the autobiography.
Man,
On February's... Sorry, go ahead.
Orleans energy.
Oh, I know, right?
So
I could
cool
use... Screw coffee. I just want to listen to her music.
Maybe that's what I got to do in the morning.
February 6th, 2016, Queen Beyonce released a surprise single, Formation, filmed in New Orleans. They had a company music video filmed in New Orleans, which sampled speech from Messi Maya and Big Freedia. Frieda's heard saying, "I did not come to play with you hoes, ha. I came to slay, bitch. I like cornbread and collard greens, bitch. Oh, yes. You best to believe it." I love it.
That's amazing.
Beyonce also used Frieda's voice in the Formation World Tour in 2016, where she says, "Oh, Missy Bay, I know you came to slay. Give them hoes what they came to see. Baby, when I tell you I'm back by popular demand, I did not come to play with you hoes. I came to slay, bitch. Oh, yes, you best believe it. I always slay. You know I don't play." I just love it.
Oh, that confidence.
Oh, I know.
Like affirmation in the morning. Came to slay, bitches.
There you go. Just get it tattooed like on your arms. We'll skip a little bit ahead. So after she signed with a new record company in April 2018. Drake's #1 hit, Nice for What, featured her, but was uncredited. And then the first major record deal with Asylum, she released her June 1st EP, Third Word Bounce, that we talked about, with the song titled Rent, was also available as a music video. And that is an amazing song. Definitely check that out. I'll put a little bit of that in there too. Then October 24th, she's featured with Kesha on Kesha's Rising Hell, the lead single from her new album, High Road. They promoted the song together in the 2019 AMAs and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
That's a fun one. I heard that on the radio for the first time like a couple months ago, and I was like, is Kesha back? Like, holy shit, this is fun.
But yeah, Big Frieda's the boss, man.
Man, she sounds like it. I think about, like, there was a moment where you said she won an overnight success award, and I'm like, I can only imagine how much work she put in to become a air quote overnight success.
Right. Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you have to hustle your ass off to get anywhere, and especially like achieving all that success and all that notoriety like 20 years ago without the internet, being able to pass your name around, like, that is amazing. And I bet she worked her fucking ass off to be that overnight.
Exactly. Well, I mean, even in this, it's saying like the singles go back to 1999. So that's, it's. What,
and to get, like, you couldn't do
11 years.
Like, you're in the studio, you're putting in that time, you're probably paying for that time to be there. Like, holy cow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very inspirational.
Yeah, Frida, she's awesome. So yeah, that's Big Frida. That's Bounce Music.
I'm craving venues. I want a hurricane. I want to go dance.
Or I say that she had worked with Lizzo and let's see, a funk group called Galactic.
Nice.
I mean, RuPaul. She did a thing called Peanut Butter with RuPaul. She's all over the place, and it's awesome. So yeah, that's Bounce Music, and that's Big Frida. So yeah, go out and listen to the songs, watch the videos.
I'm really excited to dive into these a little bit more. I feel new to it, but I'm excited to check it out. Thanks for listening to the Sounds of the World podcast.
I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll have links to everything in our description. So please follow those links and give them likes and subscriptions. Like we like to say, the world is a buffet of music, and it's time to eat. So go eat and enjoy and discover.
And on that note, I'm going to go have a bite and maybe a beer.
Hey, there you go. Bye.
Bye.